You're listening to Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technologically advanced silhouette decoy on the market. First Light, the best hunting gear on the planet. Go farther, stay longer. And Ducklander Calls, tradition, education, and quality. Built to hunt.
Punisher Waterfowls The Refuge is presented by Quick Koys, the fastest deployable, most portable, lifelike motion decoy product ever invented for duck hunters. Hey everybody, it's been 3 years and it's been a lot of me pumping this up, but we finally made it. This is August 22nd, and we are recording episode 200 of the Union 0430 podcast. So before we get into it, of course, I've got to start off with thanking our sponsors, Real Geese. Craig Mintz isn't here, but he should be jumping on any minute. We've got Bobby Hayes from Ducklander Calls on. He's one of our sponsors. And we got Nate on, who's with First Light, one of the sponsors, and of course, the voice of the Union 0430, Captain Jeff Coates, who has managed to peel himself away from the cork to come on and hang out with us tonight. So, everybody, again, thank you for coming on. What have we got? We've got 4, 8, 12, 14 people on right now. I'm guessing there's probably another 6 or 7 that's going to pop on here and there. Quick round table, I guess. I don't know how in the hell we're going to do this, but if I'm looking at my screen, I see Mark Vitch up in the top left-hand corner. Just go around, quick opening statements, and then let's get into that first topic I want to talk about. So, Mark, to you first, buddy.
First off, I'm going to start with how you see us, Damien, and everybody else sees us is going to be different. So you're just going to have to point at people.
Okay, I'll call out names then. That'll be the easiest. Okay.
It's good to see everybody here. I don't think I've actually met everyone here because I've missed so many shows over the last while. But this is an exciting night. I'm very happy to be here and to see everybody here. So let's get it going.
Okay, Philly.
It's just been an absolute wild ride over the last, is it 3 years now?
3 years,
3 or 4. Just from what this has started as just a couple clowns, just having beer and wings during online COVID, whatever, to what we've grown is just amazing, and let's hope for another couple hundred more episodes.
Phil Odell.
Hi, Phil from Odell. Congratulations, Damien, 200 episodes. That's a fantastic undertaking and accomplishment. I'm with Odell and Canuck, and we've got a couple of announcements later, but we'll let everybody introduce and have some fun, and then Damien, when you think it's right, we'll throw some surprises out.
There you go.
Congratulations,
awesome.
Buddy.
Oh, thank you. And it's Merck and Phil and Craig and past people that have been on the show that have made it. So, Captain Jeff Coates.
An honor to be here, Damien. Thank you very much. Have I listened to all 200 episodes? No, but I do my best to keep up. And congratulations on episode 200.
Absolutely, buddy. Ryan Perouse from Easy Deeks, all the way from Long Island.
What's up there, sir? Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's my first time on with you guys, so should be a blast. Damien we've been pen pals for a little bit on social media. Finally got to meet in person in Baton Rouge, and he told me about tonight. And thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on.
No, absolutely, buddy. Thanks for coming on. Nate, to you, my man.
Yeah, absolutely. Will mirror what he just said too. We'd been pen pals for quite a while, but great to finally meet you down at Baton Rouge, and really excited to be here. Sorry I haven't had the chance to meet the rest of yous, in person. But hats off, 200 episodes. That's something not too many podcasts make it to. So
appreciate it, buddy. Mr. DOA Ben Marlowe. I'll emphasize the French on the last name.
Appreciate that. 200.
Yeah, buddy.
There's a lot of things I've started and not done 200 times, so that's pretty impressive. Excited to be here. Should be a fun podcast. There's a lot of good dudes on here. Looking forward to seeing where the conversation goes.
Awesome. Thanks. Brian Ellithorpe coming to us from Ohio.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. Congrats on 200. It's a crazy group to be part of, so appreciate you having me on.
This is a motley crew if there ever was. Jordan Murdoch, Rig'em Right.
Damien, thanks for having me, and the whole Punisher Waterfowl team, just for getting us included and getting a lot of the names from the industry in here from Brigham Right Outdoors. But pumped to talk about the topics today and give my 2 cents and hear what other guys got to say about it too.
Awesome, buddy. Appreciate it. Bobby Hayes.
Well, first off, just like he said, congrats on 200, buddy. That's a lot of work to do 200 podcast episodes. So many of them don't go past about 12. So good job.
Thanks, man.
And there's so many people on here. I got to scan around this screen and see who's talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I could set it up so that the person talks is the only person that we see. But I think there's going to be stuff happening in the background as someone talks that could be funny. So I'm going to leave it. Craig Lalonde.
I just think it's absolutely ridiculous that I'm even included with this group of people. But so I just want to say thanks, Damien, again for having brought me on as a regular onto this, and it's pretty cool to be a part of this whole thing.
Awesome, thanks, buddy. Sean Stahl.
What?
Yeah, here we fucking go.
Hey, I'm only here because he bribed me with free beer and wings.
Yeah, that's right. Go Leafs, go.
Maybe some butter tarts.
Jay Peterson, Dirty Duck Coffee. Sean was short and sweet as normal.
Yeah, definitely an honor to be here. And there's not a more genuine person than you, Damien. And it's just been fun in the short time that we've gotten to know each other. And so to be included in this is an honor. But congratulations on the success. And I know that you'll be at 400 before you know it.
Well, yeah. So Phil Odell said, hey, when we do 1,000, I got a really cool prize we're going to give away. And I'm like, holy shit, if I'm still doing this at 1,000, something has really happened.
Marlo just texted me. He said he'd Venmo me $5 if I pick my nose.
Got the same one.
It's got to be worth $100.
Got to be worth.
I told him I don't have Venmo.
You can't see him, but George Parker from Bluebird Waterfowl, he just jumped on. George, just doing a quick round the table, just a quick introduction, buddy. Go for it, and we'll get rocking here.
Yeah. So everybody, I'm traveling from Minnesota to Wisconsin for the Oshkosh Waterfowl Festival. We've got our trailer back. Oh, you can't see it, but our trailer's back behind us, full of animators, and we're heading out. So I'm the founder and inventor of the animator, and the company's called Bluebird Waterfowl. We're really glad to be here.
Awesome, thanks, buddy.
Minnesota's a hands-free state. Just a heads up, that's worth $250.
Pat Hendricks is trying to come on, but I think he's having some connectivity issues. But I'm sure he's got because I know Pat doesn't know how to work his computer, so he's probably getting his wife to do that. So we'll kick off here and get talking and get this rolling, because I'm sure people want to hear what your thoughts are. But I really wanted to start this off with, and I'm going to ask the question, then I'm going to step back and let everybody have their say on this, because I really do want to hear everybody's thought process on this. But this community, and when I was in Baton Rouge, I really felt it. I really felt just how everybody was sort of kind of hoping that everybody would succeed. Not saying that they weren't trying to promote their own product, but when it come down to it, everybody wants everybody to succeed, because it's only good for the community when everybody's succeeding. So the first question is, how important do you feel that the community is as tight-knit and as close as what it is? Because it is a very small community, and all of you all know one another. You didn't need me to bring you on, because you all know one another long before you ever met me. So let's just start the chaos and someone chime in wherever they want. But how is this?
I mean, like you came into this with a different perception that maybe we all didn't get along. Is that where you're coming from? Because I think, but honestly, that is like from the consumer looking in at us. I think that's some of what gets bred on social media and whatnot, that we're all against each other, and we're not.
Yep.
It's a small community, and you might be working for one company now, and 2 years down the road, you're working for another one.
Yep.
And like you said, we're all friends. I'm looking across this thing, and I mean, I see people that they work for other companies that I represent, but we still go out at night and have, I know what their family's doing, what their kids are doing, and we go out for beers and do all that. We're all buddies. It's a close knit community. And on the other side of that, when somebody does slip up, they can get blackballed pretty dang quick.
Yeah. So this, I said I wasn't going to jump in, but that was one thing that I haven't seen it, but I've heard it mentioned that, hey, listen, we'll look out after one another, but if you're trying to do something shady or something that's not cool, you'll get told very quick on your shortcomings.
I would have to say it's from the guns and ammo guy.
Yeah.
That's absolutely true. And I mean, we have a lot of regulatory oversight, both in the States and in Canada. And anybody that crosses that line, 100%. But on the other side, we're friends with everybody. I mean, the Mossberg guy is up here. We know one another. He's hilarious. And in the gun side and the representatives here, 100%. Everybody gets along really, really well, with a very few exceptions. And a lot of times, what I find is those people end up exiting the industry.
Yeah, I could see that. Bobby, you were trying to get in?
Oh, I was just saying, I don't think I've ever gone to a waterfowl show where there's somebody there I don't care to see, or
right,
worried about seeing or running into, or right.
Yeah,
that's never been my experience.
Baton Rouge just solidified a Ben's back there. I don't know why Ben's
everybody's being so nice instead of like, you suck. Cool.
But so I'll kick this off because it's just a little slow to get everybody going. So Jordan Murdoch and I, so we had just met. So we've known each other for about 3 weeks, and we chatted on the phone a bunch of times and stuff like this. And Jordan said something to me last week, and I thought it was one of the coolest things I've heard somebody say that's working for a company that's promoting their own line or their own brand. And I'm paraphrasing, and Jordan, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but you had pretty much said, listen, I'm in the business of promoting Rig 'em Right and doing everything I can to make sure Rig 'em Right succeeds. But if somebody comes by my booth at a trade show and they're looking for a shotgun case and I have no more shotgun cases, I will walk them to the next booth and say, this guy needs a shotgun case, because that may be the one thing that's stopping that person from going out hunting on the weekend.
Yeah, absolutely. And
yeah,
we did it a lot at the Rogers Waterfowl weekend. We were down there. We did run out of, I believe it was shotgun cases. And we're in the store and guys are coming up, asking for our Flashpoint or our Nitro Deluxe, whatever case that we got. It's like, hey, they're out of stock at the store. Here's another great option. I think that the competition fuels innovation, and this is what we were talking about the other day, is if we could just grow the waterfowl community as a whole, we would all succeed in the long run. Rising tides raises all boats. We're a dying community of waterfowlers that, we need a life brought into us, and playing that game of this brand versus this brand is not good for the industry as a whole. So, and that was just my philosophical 2 cents on it. But, at the end of the day, sales are what matters. And if you can sell more stuff, great. But if you can't, getting more people into the industry, that guy will remember that down the road. And that goes for every brand. You don't want to see brands out there doing that whole work better Brigham Wright's well aware that, we make certain things that are better than other companies, but there's other companies that make stuff that's better than us. It's just how it is. There's no, that's the God's honest truth about it. So
yeah. So then, and we're like, this is such a cool group of people because we got Jay Peterson on. Who Jay is not, technically, Jay. I guess you're not in the water. You're not providing a waterfowl hunter's specific thing, but yet you're at all the shows, Jay, and you get, as somebody watching everything that's going on. Like, what's your perception? You're on mute, by the way, too, buddy.
Well, for one, what duck hunter has ever survived without a cup of coffee in the
Well, I agree.
So
I agree.
I have to disagree with that.
I wouldn't trust somebody that's not drinking coffee. Well, except Mark Fitch, but
and Chris Collins.
Oh,
monsters. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think the overall, I don't know, philosophy that I have is the more positive we are with anybody that we come across, it just adds people to that want to be a part of something. And I think human nature, we all want to be included somewhere. And
Right.
there's a lot of people that, they don't make their sports teams, or, they really struggle in school. And so all the academic side of things is not their future, but anybody can pull a trigger. Anybody can go out and shoot a bow, if it's out there, deer hunting or something like that. So, I mean, the more bodies we bring and have a positive experience in the outdoors is a huge win, because, if we don't keep that next generation coming, we're going to lose in the end. And I think we all know that there's a lot of rich people and bureaucrats and all those people that just want to gobble up the land that we want to be on and eliminate what we have as resources.
yeah, absolutely. Captain Coates. You're and you have a different view on things as well. You've been in this game for, I'm not trying to date you, but you've been doing this for a long time. You've seen a lot of things, a lot of trends come and go, a lot of people come and go, and you've seen a lot of attitudes over the course of your career. Same question to you. How do you view the community?
Well, this is the 25th season that I've been guiding full time. And I guess I kind of sometimes, I'm going to go off on a tangent just to really reel me back in, but the whole waterfowl industry, I'm just like taking people duck hunting. Like I don't, that's what I do. Have I been involved with other companies and other, back in the day, Avery Outdoors, pro staffs and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, like the bottom line, like I take people duck hunting to make a living. It's what I do full time.
Yep.
Karen's sitting here to my right. She's quit her job. This is what we do. This is what she does. This is what I do. So, I don't know. I guess I'm at a little bit of a different. I come in to this conversation a little bit differently than maybe other people do.
Yeah.
So, what have I seen? I've seen that it was a 107-day special sea duck season in the Atlantic Flyway. To today, there is no special sea duck season. Went from 107-day special sea duck season to 60-day special sea duck season. Now there's no special sea duck season. The bag limits have went down. When I first started duck hunting, regular duck season was a 30-day 3-bird limit. It's been 60 days here in Atlantic Flyway, 6 birds for quite a few years. I guess it kind of ebbs and flows. What is the true population true number of duck hunters
in
the United States? I guess the one thing that we could count is federal duck stamps, but even that is when somebody buys 2 federal duck stamps or 3 federal duck stamps, or that is your pass to a national wildlife refuge. So there's people, not that they're anti-hunters, but there's people that buy federal duck stamps that are not waterfowl hunters. So I don't know. I always kind of struggle with how many people really do duck hunt, goose hunt, waterfowl hunt in the United States.
Yeah. Bobby, like you and Sean are here, and you're call makers, like both of you. So both of you have your own thing, but I know both of you are friends, right? Like you guys you guys aren't trying to cut one another's throats. You're civil towards, you hang out, you chat on the phone, all that stuff. So like, how does that, I don't know how I'm trying to ask it, but like, how does that dynamic happen that both of you are in competition, but yet you're still friends and you still hang out?
Don, you want it?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's no different. Okay, you're a hockey fan, right, Damien?
Yeah.
And you're gonna say my wings are better than your Toronto, but no. So if you play sports, you're on a different team. You fight, you do all this stuff. At the end of the day, it's just a game. And outside of that, you guys are real people with real lives, and you know, we're friends outside of that. And I draw that analogy to hockey. I mean, look at how many of these hockey players hang out in the summer and play for different teams anymore. It's just I don't see that side of it. We're not there aren't very many villains in our sport. There's a couple, but by and large, most of us are on the same team of life. You know, at the end of the day, we're waterfowlers, and we want to enjoy the great outdoors to the fullest extent, and that includes, you know, hunting with each other. You know, Bobby and I have talked about many times about trying to get together and do a collaborative deal on stuff, and that kind of stuff just blows the public's mind, and it really shouldn't.
Yeah.
The way we were set up at Rogers across from each other, was that 3 weeks ago now?
Yep.
I didn't ask, but I hope he sold as many calls as possible, right?
Right. Yeah.
Like, I certainly don't want the call case at the store to get smaller.
Right.
That doesn't help anyone.
So like Ben, let's again, I'll say it if I'm wrong, somebody correct me. But listen, the decoy world, and Brooks Richard should have been on, and Craig Mintz is here from Real Geese. But the decoy market, like, there's not a lot of waterfowlers out there, and we've got a couple brands that are really, really big brands that's in the duck and goose decoy world. And you guys are civil to one, and you guys are direct competition with one another, Ben. And there's no issues. You guys are you still know all the dudes, and you still chat, especially on the call circuit, right?
We all just started off as waterfowl hunters, and like for myself, started contest calling, learned a little bit at school, and then one day we just kind of woke up and we were working in it.
Right.
And so we all just started kind of on the same page. We just want to work hard and go have fun and go hunting. I think that's kind of where we're all at.
I think that's the common theme, Nate. You know, with the clothing, because, you know, the clothing world, that side of the industry now is blowing up, right? And again, direct competition with a bunch of brands. But at the end of the day, and I think it was Jordan that said it, you know, competition breeds innovation. And this is why we're in the position that we're in now, with so many different options for people, because of the competition. And the hunter is the one that's coming out of this a winner.
Well, absolutely. And, you know, the competition is steep, right? And, you know, in my position, one of the things I will have conversations about with customers all the time is, well, why should I buy your product over, you know, X, Y, or Z, right? And, you know, obviously, you don't ever want to say negative things about your competitors. I mean, Sitka makes a great product. Kuiu makes a great product. So does Shin, right? I mean, everybody does. They're all just different flavors of the same thing. And there's clearly things that we do better than others and that others do better than us. But I think, you know, tying it back into the community, what's important to remember, and, you know, a lot of you guys have touched on it, but really what it comes down to, I think that all of us try to do is provide products or services or what have you that allow a positive experience, you know, with the end consumer, right? So that maybe they are able to have the same sort of experiences that we have had, right? Because that's ultimately what grows the community and brings everybody closer together. And that's always been my goal, just in the customer service management type position. But it's been really cool to see that, take shape just the last couple of years. So
Mr. Mintz, who is camping right now, so I really appreciate you taking time and coming on. I didn't realize you were away with the family, buddy. So I really do appreciate you carving some time out of your schedule. But Craig, so for those that don't know, when I was in Baton Rouge, that's who I was down with. I was down with Craig and in Craig's booth, and I'd like to say I was helping him, but I don't think I did much other than spend most of my time walking around the booth talking to other people. But Craig, you got down to Baton Rouge, and I think it's safe to say that you felt the same as I did when it came to everybody else that was in that show and just how supportive everybody was and wanting everybody to succeed. All the brands.
Yeah, I think that's why I really like that show. Too, also is everybody in that building was a waterfowl hunter. Some of the shows that we go to and some of the other ones they may be hunters in general, but waterfowl is such a niche compared to some of them, in the States where whitetail and turkey, is pretty popular. But everybody in there had a waterfowl, reason to be there. And everybody that, came up to us that was either an exhibitor or was there just helping, how's the show going? Do you guys need anything? Or, we were helping one another out. I think that's what shows you how tight-knit this community is. Even though we are, in certain cases, competitors in the long run, we're always there to help one another, because here, if we don't do our jobs and make this, this industry grow, before too long, there's not going to be much of an industry left.
Yeah. No, very good point. And it seems to be a common, thread that everybody is saying that if we're not careful, it's going to go the way of the dodo bird, right? And we will lose what we all call our passion right now. Pat Hendricks, from Canadian Waterfowl Supplies is on too. And Pat's like that wise old owl that just
yeah, I wouldn't call me the wise old owl.
But no, like Pat,
I think last time you called me older than dirt. So.
Well, that was a long time ago. I called
I
you
know,
older
and I
than
never
dirt.
forget.
Imagine how old he is now.
No, but Pat, as everybody here has got their own little piece of the pie somewhat, but then you're in a distinct this should be good. I wonder who this is. Punisher Waterfowl's life. Who is this? I like him, whoever it is. But Pat, you're dealing with
I knew it was Rusty.
It's just Rusty.
Pat, you're dealing with everybody on a daily basis, and so you see everybody, all sides of everybody, of every brand that's out there. For somebody in your line of work, how do you view it? Like, how do you see the community when you compare to what all of we're saying tonight?
Well, we deal with a lot of people all across Canada and in the U.S.
Yeah,
I have some pretty long telephone conversations sometimes with guys from out west or out east. The community as a whole is really good.
Yeah,
everybody is really supportive. We all like to sit back. We all like to talk about duck hunting. Great hunts we've had. At times we got to take the grandkids out and everything. So I don't really see any issues between waterfowlers themselves. I mean, you can I can pick up the phone one day and I could be talking for an hour to a guy I've never met before.
Right.
And it's and in regards to things like the brand loyalty and such, every person seems to have their own.
Yeah,
really, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah,
unless somebody has a bad experience with any types of products, then generally they're going to stick with what they know and what they like.
That is very true, though, and I think, and anybody here, if I'm wrong, chime in. But I think for the most part, that comes down to everything: firearms, the clothing that you use, the decoys that you use, the call that you use. Like as duck hunters, goose hunters, we have a brand that we like, and that's usually the way it is. And until something catastrophic goes wrong on the day of a hunt, chances are you're sticking with that brand until something happens to it, right?
Yeah.
That's what I.
You have dedicated Higdon users, dedicated real geese users. It's just
Absolutely
just the way that it is. It's the same with Rig'em Right, everything too. Some guys don't want to buy any other products except for Rig'em Right.
Yeah, absolutely. Rusty Heron from Heron Game calls. Are you at work now, or are you?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
We're just making minivans.
We're just.
I like your glasses.
Yeah.
Oh, you like them? These sick goggles.
That's
I'll
how
give
come.
you the full effect.
That's how come our vehicles cost as much money right now, is because the unionized workers are taking breaks and coming on podcasts.
It's that's no lie. That's no lie.
Well, you heard it here first. No, Rusty. So really, what we're talking about, and Ryan, I haven't forgotten about you, buddy. I want to get you in on this too. But Rusty, what we've been really talking about is how this community is really there for one another. And I think so. Listen, I'm not foolish to say that every waterfowler out there loves every other waterfowler, and there's no fighting and there's no arguing and all that stuff, because that's a crock of shit, and we all know it. But with everybody that's here on this show tonight, I would think, and this is the common theme that I'm getting, the common feeling is that everybody here understands that if we don't all get along, and if we all don't focus in on the same sort of priorities, we will fail, and we will just go away to nothing. And that's really the topic that we're on right now, Rusty, if you want to chime in on that.
Yeah, I think it's important to me that, we might be different strands of the spider web per se, but at the end of the day, we're all in it for the one reason, because we all love it. And I know that might sound cliche or whatever, but waterfowling can definitely tend to be an environment where everybody wants to be hush hush and top secret, because you don't want anybody sneaking into your spots. But if we don't all work together, there ain't going to be any spots anymore, because there's lots of people that would like to take this right away from us.
Yeah,
we need to work together. And the fact that there's this many people on, heck, you even got Sean Stahl on.
I know. Yeah, well, yeah, Sean's all about the FaceTime on social media. He's all about getting his face out there.
Oh yeah, he's a player for sure.
But no, and Ryan, so I've got them. Oh, sorry. So Ben, I'll come right back to you. But Ryan, on your side, like, I gotta say, I don't know. I think you're probably the only person that I know that duck hunts from Long Island. I'm sure there's a great community of duck hunters there, but I've never ever actually chatted with someone from Long Island that's a duck hunter. So what do you see on your side of the continent, where you're up in the North Atlantic?
Well, just to kind of circle back to what the guys are talking about, we're probably the youngest company on here.
Right.
And we never really started off to become a waterfowl company.
Right.
You bring up Long Island, obviously we're hunting over salt, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I started building my products because I was frankly disappointed. I was a hunter. I was disappointed in the products that were on the market and putting up with what salt does. I mean, let's be honest, most people are duck hunting in fresh water, right?
Yep.
They don't really think of, Jeff Coates and us out hunting over salt. It's a completely different animal, right? So I think a lot of the market is servicing a customer base that's hunting over fresh water. And I think that's where I've kind of built my little niche. But I'll be honest, the first 2 years at Delta were incredible. I had the same experience as you. But this past year, we had a bigger brand kind of badmouth us to a customer, and the customer came over and told us.
Right.
I think that looks terrible. And I went home disappointed because actually I'm a fan of the brand. I actually buy their products or have in the past, but I don't think I'll ever buy it again.
Right.
And that's like, that to me was really disappointing because we're just a small family business. Like we're not a monster. I do this on the side. This is what I do for fun. And I'm growing it and I'm loving it. And I'm kind of late to the game as a duck hunter. But to kind of go back to your last question, like Long Island has a rich history of duck hunting. Like
yeah.
most of what everyone else is doing is because of what's been going on in the Chesapeake Bay area, the South Shore of Long Island, you know, the Great South Bay. There's all these different things that people don't really think of. Like our first year at Delta, people were kind of, wait, you duck hunt in New York? Like, what do you guys get to duck hunt? And what we, you know, we may not have the numbers that the Mississippi Flyway has, but we have species. And throughout the season, depending on the weather, I mean, I could be shooting puddle ducks, or I could be shooting goldeneye and redheads and canvasbacks in the same spots. So we just get a lot of variety. And the community here is, especially where I live on the North Shore, and I've kind of tried to create that community and push it even harder. We show up at the boat ramp. It's not a race to the spot. It's like, hey, where are you going? Where am I going? Let's work together. Because really, if we blow out some of these local marshes, we're just going to be shooting over, you know, right behind someone's house, and then that spot's going to get shut down. So we try to work together and only hunt certain spots on certain winds, and really kind of take a little bit. I mean, I'm in New York, you know, as much as Long Island's red, it's New York. You know what I mean? So you have a lot of different people, and they do not want us duck hunting behind their homes. But that's that's where we are. You know, we're in salt marshes, 300 feet behind someone's house. You know, but that's the law. We're able to hunt those marshes.
Yeah. Ben.
Man, why don't we talk about the gas station at 4:30 in the morning when there's like 5 crews that roll in together and the tension is like right here, man.
Well, how about when there's only fucking 2 gas station burritos left and there's a crew of 5 people, 5 crews coming in, and they've all fighting for that same burrito.
Shell rules, man.
You know, and I don't want to sound like I'm oblivious to the fact that people don't get along. People don't get along, and I get it.
The mean muggings that I've got from people 150 pounds, half my age. How do you go home and tell your wife that? I got mean mugged by a 15-year-old today.
Couldn't even drive himself to the duck hole.
Had a trailer. He had a boat. What are we doing here?
I get it, buddy. I really do. It's just, I think there's enough. And Bobby, we tried to do a show a couple years ago. You, me, Massey, Jeff Coates, and we tried to do a show where we really tried to put the positive spin on things and try and get away from the negativity that social media, which it just seems, right? Like somebody puts a post up, hey, this is what I'm doing. Well, then there's 20 people that's jumping down that kid's throat or losing their mind because they don't agree with some of the practices and stuff. And like I said, I'm not oblivious. I know that people don't get along, but I think if we start here, and I'm not saying this is the only place that this happens, but if we start here and start putting out positive energy and, hey, listen, we can all get along and still do our thing, then I think the community as a whole will benefit, if that makes sense.
Wow, we really are the Brady Bunch.
Yeah, we are the Brady Bunch. There's no doubt.
The youngest one on here.
Who's skybusting behind you, Ben?
Who, what, Rusty?
Said, who's skybusting behind you?
That to be Ben.
That was me.
Look at
okay.
that. Oh, that's easy, a 60-yarder right there. Easy.
Yeah. Oh. It was, yeah. Cool photo. Cool photo, okay?
Great photo.
Okay.
Looks like somebody outside Kingsville, right?
Maybe.
Here we go. Shots fired.
It might be banded.
There we go. And everything's about to go downhill right quick. No, fellas, like, I don't know. I did not want this show to turn into I didn't want it to be a negative show. I wanted it to be a positive show, right? And not saying that you're turning it negative or nothing like that, but I think we need we need more things like this. We need more of you guys, not me, but we need more of you guys because that's who people know. We need more positive going out into the community so that fellas can just maybe I shouldn't say anything on that Instagram post because what's the point to chastise somebody for the fact that they didn't know what that duck was, or when they asked, hey, anybody know what kind it is? Like, seriously, like, is it that big of a deal?
I'll jump in on that one, Damien. I think one thing I've noticed just in the short couple of years I've been in the industry too, and not specific to the waterfowl industry, but like just hunting industry in general, right? There's a lot of ego when you start looking around, and it depends on obviously the companies that you're talking to and the different hunters that you talk to, but that I feel like is a barrier for entry for a lot of younger people because we talk about wanting to see more younger people up and coming through the hunting ranks, whether it's as a consumer or as a in the industry, what have you. And that's something that I personally take head on within what we do here at First Light, and I just think that's something we all should be a little more mindful of too. Just to, if nothing else, make sure we can all get along a little better. Because obviously, clearly, everybody here in this group does get along, right? But that's not always the perception that you have amongst your customers, right? So
if I look at the people that's on here, and I'm not trying to specifically exclude anybody, but when I see Rusty Heron, Sean Stahl, Bobby Hayes, all three of them I know will take time to teach somebody how to call, as opposed to tearing them down when they put a video up. Hey, how's my routine? And Ben's over there. Ben watches it and he's shaking because he wants to just go nuts because he wants to chime in on somebody that's doing a calling video as well. But that's the good examples that you see when you see Bobby Hayes, Sean Stahl, Ben Merlot, Rusty Heron jumping on and helping a kid, and I'd say a kid, you could help me too because I'm a horrible caller, but that's the things that we need. We need to see more of that instead of knocking somebody down. We need more trying to build somebody up and try and give them the little tips and tricks. Bobby, I've heard you say a million times, if you can teach somebody that they just get that one duck and it's because of their calling and you were able to teach them, then you've won. And I've heard you say that a million times, that's your biggest philosophy. And if I can get a kid his one duck, then I'm happy.
That is the main thing I do at shows, is help people learn to call.
Yeah.
So selfishly, I want them to succeed so they'll hunt so I can keep a business.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah. So
no, and of course there's a,
they won't stay hunting if they don't kill stuff. That's just the way it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, this is Kyle Smock with Show Me Ducks, a proud sponsor of Punisher Waterfowl's The Refuge this March at the Toronto Sportsman Show. Come check us out in The Refuge to see the Deep Diver 2.0, the Ice Quacker, and the Mini Quacker.
Okay, fellas. I've got 10 minutes until we're at 60. We can go longer, but I did want to get a chance in because I've been sort of pumping the tires on this episode and stuff. And I know some of you have come to the table with some prizes that you're going to give away. And I thought this would be a great time for anybody to announce what it is that they're giving away. And then however, if it's coming to me and I send it out, or if you're going to take care of it on your end, you can say it. But I thought this would be a good time to talk about any giveaways that we're doing, and then we can carry on talking after that. So we'll start again, I'll call it out. I'll call the name, and then you just go ahead. So Phil Odell, you're up first.
Thanks very much, Damien. Actually, this is a very eclectic group, and I really enjoy listening to you guys because you guys are, as we talk to our pro staff, you're the 1%. You're the super keen, enthusiastic, and incredibly knowledgeable group. And it's in talking about getting more people out, I spend a lot of time with my guys trying to get them to look at the average hunter. And it's really cool to hear you guys talking about reaching out to those people and helping them out. We are really pleased that I want to announce Damien runs the refuge at the Toronto Sportsman Show every year. And we are very, very proud to be the official ammunition sponsor of the refuge with Apex Ammunition. So we will be there in the refuge with Damien at the Toronto Sportsman Show. And that's 100,000 people come through that show. For Canada, it is the single largest show that's not the Canadian National Exhibition. It really is a massive event. It's bigger than most sporting events that we have up here. So that's a fantastic thing, Damien. And for you to run the refuge and get everybody together, hats off, buddy. You're doing a fantastic job, and we're honored to be your ammo sponsor. And in support of that, for the 200th episode, we have donated 4 boxes of our Apex, the new Apex ammunition. It is 2 boxes are going to Canadian listeners and 2 boxes are going to American listeners. Damien will be in touch with the winners, and we're very, very pleased to be able to do that. And again, thanks very much for 200 episodes, brother, and to be a part of this and meet a bunch of guys who I really only have ever known online, and to listen to them is amazing. So thanks very much, guys, and this is a wonderful group of the 1% that understands we need to grow a whole lot of people into the group so we can all continue to have a ton of fun doing what we love doing.
Mm-hmm.
So again, congratulations, Damien.
No, thanks, Phil. Thank you for coming on as a sponsor and believing in the refuge and that whole idea. I can't thank you enough, and this is a real nice surprise to hear this tonight. Trust me, you'll be getting an email from me tomorrow. I promise you. Captain Jeff Coates.
How about this? Karen and I'll slow down. Karen and I will give a $100 gift code to the store at pitbosswaterfowl.com. If the winner would like to wait, maybe till we get into mid-September, we'll have all the 25th year gear in, and
Nice.
we have plenty of stuff there right now. But if they want to wait a little bit, they can get on or purchase anything. How about this? Put the $100 gift card towards a purchase of anything that's new we got in the store. So
Awesome, buddy. I appreciate it.
And again, man, happy 200th episode to you.
Well, I don't know where we're at right now, Ella Thorpe, but have you been keeping count? Who's got more appearances, you or Coates right now on the show?
No, I think I lost count. I was just expecting that the next time I came on, Jeff would be here. So.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Jeff, buddy, thank you so much. I would encourage people to wait until September, until the 2024 products come out, because I know you've got some pretty cool stuff coming out.
Fingers crossed it works out. So yes,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Ryan.
I don't know if you and I made a final decision on what we were doing.
Oh yeah, we did. We totally did. If you don't know, I'll tell you.
Well,
all of it.
No, I'm happy. I think I told Damien I'm happy to do a dozen rigs that either you're going to ship out to one of your Canadian listeners, but I want to sweeten the pot. Give one out to a Canadian listener, and let's take care of someone in the States as well. So
Awesome.
I'd like to do 2 dozen 4x4 stainless steel handcrafted Texas rigs.
Awesome. Appreciate it, buddy. So we'll do a Canadian. So just like with Apex Ammo, we'll do a Canadian winner and an American winner on that. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. Nate, I have First Light's prize here. So I'm going to let you describe what it is because the boys sent it to me a while ago. So we've got the rugged woolly hoodie and we've got a kiln crew neck. So that's the two prizes that's going out from First Light. I have it here. So hopefully, I'm not saying that I hope it's a Canadian that wins it because I don't want to ship it to the States, but say la vie.
Well, and we're going to bolster that a little bit for you too, Damien. So you've got the rugged wool hoodie, you've got the kiln quarter zip, you said, right?
Yeah.
Two of the best waterfall wool pieces we've got, no questions. You got the midweight and the super heavyweight, but for one American listener and then one Canadian listener as well, we've got a couple 60 off codes that we'll toss their way.
Ooh.
So if it tickles their fancy, they can save a little bit of money, you know?
There you go.
Everybody loves it. Benny, did we get anything squared away, Ben?
Yeah, we did. I'm on my game all the time.
I know you are, buddy.
Buttoned up tight.
Yeah, you're loaded spring, ready to go all the time.
We will be donating a cowboy pack, the 6-pack of flocked-head mallard drakes. If it goes to Canada, I'm working with Pat at Canadian Waterfowl Supplies, CWS. If it's in the States, it's coming from us.
Awesome. Appreciate it, buddy.
Thank you for putting together the 200th.
No, thank you. Thank you for coming on, and thanks for that amazing gift. Ella Thorpe, I know that you're going to give a free wedding video. That's what you're giving away. So anybody that gets married, Ella Thorpe's flying on his dime.
Yep, we'll just do that. Absolutely.
No, buddy, I didn't want to put you on the spot. And I think I totally forgot to tell you that, fellas, we're going to do this. So
okay.
It's all good.
I'll get you something. Don't worry about it.
No, you're good. No, let the fellas that got brands do something. Jordan, I believe you've got something in the mail for me right now to give away. I just got to wait for it to be delivered so I can send it out. So you can say what it is, but I know it's en route to me as we speak.
The stuff I sent to you was actually for you and the team.
Okay.
That's just personal stuff. Unless you want to give it out, feel
No,
be my
no,
guest.
No. We're keeping it. We're keeping it. No,
Easy. Gotta be some perks.
You guys heard that? Damien's giving away all of his personal hunting gear to the one grand prize winner.
Yeah.
No, so what we'll do, Damien, is we never exactly nailed something down, but just kind of thinking about it here during the podcast, I think it'd be best to do a pack of the new Rig 'em Right Blackouts, one for a Canadian customer. We will figure out the shipping on that end, whether it's to you or we'll figure that out. And then one to a US customer as well.
Wow. Amazing. Thanks, buddy. Bobby. First off, Bobby, I got to say, for the love of God, send Phil Christian's call.
Oh, I know. I'm dying on that.
Hey, I'm even wearing a Ducklander t-shirt tonight.
I know. It's still sitting over there. It has not been sold.
Hey, our season opens in like 4 or 5 weeks.
You should get there in time.
Hope so.
So you're getting the call, Damien. I don't care if I ship it up there or ship it here or ship it to you, whatever you want to do.
Okay, buddy.
Yeah.
So a call.
Get on the site and tell me whatever call you want.
Okay. So a call from Ducklander. Lalonde, you're not giving away nothing but your good looks. Stahl, thank you for blessing us with your presence. I will get you to a Leaf game one day, and we'll trash that Red Wings jersey big time. We will do it. Oh, here we go. What do we got?
Oh, I had it. Dang it.
Leaf schedule?
Oh, do it.
Who would want a Leaf schedule?
Oh, here we go.
No.
It's bad. No, oh, Craig Mintz is here too. So now I got two Detroit.
Better yet, Damien, when Colorado is in town playing the Leafs, we'll get Sean up for a game.
Yeah, there you go. There we go. Let's watch. Let's everybody stare at Sean Stahl as he tries to figure this out. Yeah, go Wings, go. Yeah, nice. Yeah. Jay Peterson, Dirty Duck Coffee, and I believe it's on its way to me right now. AJ.
Yeah, absolutely. We've got some bags of coffee to go out to some folks there in Canada, and I'm happy to to do a few folks here in the States as well, and I can just ship that direct from down here. So,
Okay. Appreciate it, buddy.
absolutely. Pleasure.
Mr. Hendricks had already sent me his, and I gave it away about 2 weeks ago.
Early.
Yeah, I know.
You might as well say what it was.
No, it was a $300 gift certificate for online or in the shop.
Yeah, at Canadian Waterfowl Supply. So it was a $300. Actually, I forget the name of the fella that won that. But anyways, Pat donated something. I used it early to try and pump up the 200th episode. And then I looked like an idiot when I was sending out emails to fellas, and Pat was like, oh no, it was Ryan. Ryan's like, you already gave away our gift. And I was like, oh fuck, I'm an idiot.
One job.
One job. Yeah, absolutely.
One job.
Yeah.
Mr. Craig Mintz.
Yeah, what about it? Oh.
You got anything to give away?
Yeah, I think we spoke about this earlier. We'll do a group, a package for the Canadian customers. We'll give away 1 dozen of the Punisher pack.
Yep.
And then we'll also give away 1 dozen of the new Pro 2 lights.
Yep.
Yep. So what you got there in the background, the Punisher packs. I'll probably get a hold of Pat and just get it from there for the Canadian customers, and then for the American customers, obviously we can ship here. Just if it's closer, we can kind of go from there. But yeah, I'm excited to give these decoys out. The Punisher pack has been a great seller since day one, and the Pro 2 lights just hitting the market. I think are going to be sometimes a game changer in certain carries. But we're blessed to be a part of the 200th episode, and we look forward to the 400th.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, love it. Thanks, Craig. And just you, Bobby, Nate, Jeff, you guys have, and I'm just singling these guys out because they've been sponsors and a part of the show for so long, and I can't thank you enough for believing in us. So thank you so much. Mr. George Parker, that's got 2 screens going right now, so we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, I had to have 2 screens because I couldn't hear you guys talking in the truck, so I had to put it on a Bluetooth speaker.
Okay. All good, buddy. All good.
Yeah. So happy to be here. 200th episode. I think it'd probably be fair to give away $200 worth of our animators. Maybe 100 to an American customer and 100 to a Canadian customer.
Yep.
Really just pumped for what you've become so far, man. And if I may, didn't get a chance to jump in earlier, but we're working with Billy Campbell and Dennis Luzier with this hashtag Same Team movement. I think everybody that said everything here today was just so full of joy and hope for a great community, between the companies. And I heard the word competition quite a bit, maybe direct competition, some type of competition. And I disagree with that word in this industry. Everybody's just a little bit different, and everybody makes just a little bit different types of products, and one's going to fit a customer better than another's. And nobody's ever going to be, in my opinion, better or worse than someone. It's just a completely different price point or a different quality, fit for a different customer. We get it a lot with our animator, where guys say, well, how does this compare to a pulsator, or how does this compare to a jerk cord or a butt rippler? It doesn't compare. It's different, and we all work together, and they work well together. So I don't care if it's Shen or Sitka or Rig'em Right or Bluebird Waterfowl. Everybody's just making the best stuff that they can for the community, and if we as company owners stand together and stand strong together, hopefully we can be a leadership and a guiding light to the customers that are buying our products. So congrats on a 200th episode, man. I know you've been with us since the beginning, and really pumped on everything. So thank you for letting us be here.
No, thank you for always being there, George, buddy. And thanks for welcoming me in when Mintz left me high and dry in Baton Rouge, and you welcomed me in with open arms and took care of me when Mintz decided to just go back to Ohio and leave me. Like 100% he left me. and he went back to
I
Ohio.
left you in a penthouse. We're good.
It's all good, buddy. Thanks,
More
George.
importantly, left him unsupervised.
Yeah, he left me unsupervised. No, thanks, George. Rusty, I did not get a chance to talk to you. So, to you, if you have something, you have something. If you don't, you don't, but it's all good.
We're gold. I told you we were good. So first and foremost, 200 episodes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, it's a bit stupid when you think about it, to be honest with you.
The amount of love you brought to the whole waterfowl community, you and the boys, second to nobody out there. So big love. And I know that sounds kind of cheesy, but Damien knows I love him. Phil knows I love him. Mark knows I love him. I love all you guys. So what do I have? We're gonna do an ebonite, a red pan ebonite call, which ebonite's apparently like the big thing on the call market now. Everybody wants to call out ebonite, so we'll do one of those. But then if you hunt with like a little crew of guys, 3-4 guys, I'll hook all them up with acrylic calls. And then here's the flyer. This might work for some, it might not work for all. But if you can get here September 12th or 13th, we'll go try and kill a minor band. How about that?
There you go.
No promises. That's Stahl. He's been here. He knows it's not easy. But if you can be here September 12th or 13th, I have those 2 days in the early goose season open. And I'd be glad to take you out and give it a whirl. No promises, but we can try.
That's amazing, buddy. Thank you so much. To all of yous, I really don't know what to say, and I'm doing all the talking. Phil, Mark, Craig is not doing talking, but they will chime in here. I can't thank yous all enough, and all the kind words and all that stuff. It's great, and at the end of the day, the show started just so Mark, Phil, myself, Ryan Breau, and Dave Palmer could all sit and just chat while we were waiting for duck hunting to open back up. And that was it was never supposed to last past the start of duck season. We were supposed to stop then and then pick it back up in January, and we've just kept it going. It's been 200 episodes, and it wouldn't be possible without each of you and then all of the other people that came on. And I know there's a bunch of people that were going to try and come on tonight. Obviously something came up and they weren't able to. But to everybody that's supported us and have come on and have been a guest and have chatted with us, I can't thank you enough, because you are all proof that the industry is good. Because you come on this show with this bunch of Canadians and you hang out and have a good time. And I've honestly made some of my best friends through this show. So I can't thank you enough. Fellas, so I guess the thing is do we want to continue going, or do we want to end the show, or do we want to keep going and then let her go until people just say, okay, that's enough. We're done talking. Let's end it. It's really up to you guys. If somebody needs to leave, yeah, go for it. Phil Odell.
Well, I'm perfectly happy to keep talking, and you've got a particularly amazing group of people here. I have a question for them. So if we want to keep going, I actually have a question that I would like to pose to the group.
Yep.
Okay. You guys are very heavily into a lot of the gear that's involved in duck hunting. We do guns and ammunition, but we actually spec out and create our own firearms. And when we're talking about expanding the appeal of duck hunting, one of the key things is gear, clothes, boots, a lot of that stuff. I mean, decoys and such, one size fits all. But guns are definitely not that. And what do you guys see, or more importantly, what don't you see out in the market that, and I'm not going to say we can do this, but maybe we stand a chance to do this, that would be important and you think would bring more people maybe to duck hunting if we gave, I don't know, pick one. I know a lot of, and maybe I'm more familiar with turkey hunting, but I mean, 20 gauge is huge in turkey hunting. So we've been bringing that. But in the duck hunting world, what in the equipment side, specifically guns, do you think would help? Features or price points that would help get more people out.
More bottomland.
Oh,
sorry, Nate.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
Pattern.
Well, check our website. You'll find
Everything.
out there's
Everything's
a
better in
buttload of
bottomland
on our website.
Well, it's funny as we sit here, Nate, because I've got my soft shell, like literally I'm sitting.
Yep.
Sitting on it behind my chair.
So the 20 gauge, the sub gauge is very big within the waterfowl community. Like in the last
more 28s,
more 28s, yeah.
28s
to do 20.
Needs
28
more 8-shot steel out there. That's what we need.
Yeah.
I'd tell them to learn how to finish birds better so they don't need a big gun.
Fair.
Call them in close.
I guess in my experience, it's not so much the gun, but the ammo available, especially as of late. I mean, there's shotguns with every price point. So if you can't afford a shotgun, you're going to have more issues than just getting into the sport. But when we have, like I've looked for 410 for little kids that want to go out and hunt, and that's tough to find, especially now. And even if you do find it, it's expensive. Same with 28. So that's what I've seen. And I don't know if anybody else feels the same way, but I don't think it's so much that there isn't something available as far as a shotgun. It's that even when we get the shotgun, finding ammo for it.
Certainly in Canada, 410 has been problematic the number of years. I mean, we in our over and under line, we typically have 5 gauges, 12 down to 410 or 36. And we've had semi pump and over and under 410s. I'm thinking in terms of at a good price point, would it be beneficial to have a gun that has adjustable length of the pull, that has, either through spacers or something else? And is 410 a big thing? I mean, I certainly in Canada, from a turkey perspective, we're not allowed to hunt turkeys with below 20 gauge in Ontario and Quebec. So that becomes a thing. But certainly we have a wider variety for the semi pump action, the traditional duck guns. What else is there out there that you guys could see? I mean, 28 is very interesting. I think ammo availability, certainly in Canada, becomes a big thing.
Even with the 20 gauge last year, though, it was difficult as well.
It was. Yeah. I found it hard finding 20 gauge ammo last year.
Yeah.
And it was so hard, and I gotta say this, it was so hard that I sold my 20 gauge and I'm gone back to a 12 this year.
We can help you out, Damien.
Yeah. You know what? Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like it was difficult to find ammo last year. And so what do you do? So, Phil, you could come up with all the sub gauges that you want, but if there's no ammo there, well then, that's just the way I think. If the ammo isn't there, and we already know that there's a powder shortage already right now this year, right? They're already talking about a powder shortage. So
yes,
is that
going known that for about 3 months now?
Yeah. So is that going to affect the quantity of ammo that's available?
I think if you're considering, as far as especially the viewpoint of growing the community, a few things are going to be obviously, it's like making sure that there's different price points covered, not just guns, because guns you can already find a huge variety of price points. But yeah, definitely, like I think it was Brian said, like the ammo, something that people can get into and still have a decent shot, right? Because you may still be able to find some cheap rounds out there, but are they going to kill birds too? And like you said, Phil, the adjustability, I think again, because if you've got brand new people coming in, everybody online's telling them to go to the store, find the one that fits you, and maybe it feels right in the store, and they get it home and in the field, and it's still not working well for them. Can they adjust? Because if you've got somebody brand new, they put what little money they've got into that gun, now they're out in the field and that gun's not working for them, they're not going to have the money to go back out, or they're going to get discouraged, and you haven't grown that community, right? When that person drops out.
Well, I think you hit a huge point there, and we have our dealer range day for Southern Ontario, and we'll get about 20 to 30 dealers. One of the things that we do is we try to show guys how to fit shotguns, and that's definitely something that is a lost art amongst people in gun stores. And I've had all kinds of folks talk to me about, wow, I never knew, because fit on a shotgun is so critical. I mean, it absolutely is. As a gun guy, I mean, that getting a shotgun that fits you is, I mean, that's the number one thing that'll improve your score. And I don't international skeet or you're shooting ducks over the back pond. I mean, if you got a gun that fits you, you're going to do a lot better.
Damien, that sounds like a heck of a video opportunity right there, doesn't it?
Well, it does. Yeah, you're right. Because fit a shotgun. We actually did one a while back with Matt Pomeroy, but it was very much in the beginnings of the show.
Sure.
So I'm not so, but an instructional video on how to fit I don't know how to properly fit a shotgun to myself.
Same, 100%.
What's funny, like all those social media posts, like I've got a $1,000 budget, $1,500 budget. I'm looking at these 2-3 guns. I'll say to people, like, those are great options, but they ain't worth squat if you can't hit the ground if you drop it. The gun's gotta fit. A $2,000 gun ain't worth $2 if you can't hit anything.
Yeah,
I agree.
Damien, I think we focus on so much on trying to sell product to our customers, in a creative way, that we're kind of ignoring the fact that my computer broke for a second. We're ignoring the fact that our customer base is shrinking.
Yeah.
And that's primarily through lack of opportunity and other things that are more intriguing to them. And that's one thing I think this whole group, this industry needs to focus in on more. I mean, we're all worried about our own little world, but we're not thinking big picture on this stuff.
Yep.
And, there's states in the U.S., there's provinces in Canada. They're starting to limit access to hunters, which is driving down hunter numbers. We've seen Manitoba. They didn't even hit their quota for people to apply because now they have an application period, and it's half of what it used to be.
Yeah.
And you got shrinking areas, urban sprawl, that kind of stuff. So, I mean, I think we focus too hard on trying to come up with the next little widget to sell our customer base, but we're losing sight of the fact that our customer base is shrinking every day.
Yeah. Yeah. No, a very good point, Sean. And I think, Bobby, you and I talked about it last week. Like, Alberta is rumored that they're going to bring in some new guidelines that's gonna affect hunters out in Alberta. So you're seeing the prairie provinces doing it, and
you're not seeing a lot of banter about it because it doesn't affect us because there's only 10,000 people that maybe go to Alberta. There's 3,500 that go to Manitoba. But as Lee Jost so vividly pointed it out, it's death by 1,000 nails. They're going to get us one nail at a time, and eventually we don't have anybody to fight anymore.
Yeah. No, keep going, Sean. I was just waving to Rusty.
Oh, no, go ahead.
Yeah.
But it's something I'm real passionate about because it's getting harder and harder to get access. Public ground shrinking. They're selling public land by us all the time. It's shrinking down. It's harder and harder to get access on places. Duck numbers are down. There's the tiling fields, taking away wetlands. We're not looking at the big picture here. All we're looking at is how can we sell more calls tomorrow? How can we sell more guns tomorrow? Not 5 years down the road. And I promise you, there's people out there looking at how can we get them to not hunt 5 years down the road. let alone how
Yeah.
can we get their guns and ammo and calls.
Rusty, I know you gotta take off and get on the floor, so
Yeah, I just I'll be really quick here, everybody. I couldn't agree more with what you just said, Sean. And Phil, to your point, I really think these words ring so true that we need to stop viewing this whole industry as competition and instead should be viewing it as a community. People like yourself, Craig with Real Geese, Ben, we need to start working together. Doesn't mean we have to form, tight partnerships where we only work with this person, that business, this business, but we need to start working together to promote it to everybody. You can promote it to the wealthy, but we also need to promote this whole sport to the 17-year-old kid that drives a Honda Civic that doesn't have an enclosed trailer and an unlimited budget, right? And there's stuff within the marketplace right now that will fit any budget. It's just a matter of everybody. Like, I know you guys have various different guns, Phil. It's just a matter of connecting all the dots, right? Like, take one of your less expensive, lower grade guns and find the companies that offer the same kind of product. So a kid just getting into this can almost do a one-shop stop. He doesn't necessarily just have to buy it straight through you guys at Odell, but like, work together, link your website so that if you're just starting, look here, right? Like, yeah, I sell an acrylic goose call and I'm really proud of it, but I'll be the first one to say that you can take a paper towel roll and a water bottle and a set of guts and go kill geese with it. Like, you don't have to buy the best of everything, it's not for everybody, right? Like, a $10 call will kill every goose that a $200 call will. The $200 call is just the Ferrari compared to the Pinto. And I think we really do such a bad job of not working together as a community because there's people that are scared that if I associate with this, it's a bad look. It's never a bad look because if we don't start, like Sean was saying, drawing new blood, whether that's old people, young people, anybody into this sport, these numbers are just going to continue to dwindle and to the point that we don't have a leg left to stand on to stand up and fight because there are people that want to take this away from us. And it's up to us to try and do something now because it is literally dire time.
So, Rusty, that's kind of what I was trying to get at with the accessibility of the ammo because and Sean and Damien, they know this, but I have a young son that I've been trying to steer him towards getting into hunting, and he's been like really taken to it. He wants to be doing everything that I'm doing. And actually, this gun behind me is a 28 gauge that I bought so that I have it when he's ready if he wants to go. The biggest thing that I'm seeing is that even if I want to go buy 28 gauge and I got a 410 for him, if I want to find that stuff, it's so difficult just to find it, but let alone like in a price point that like I can afford it, but somebody else might not be able to. And if they're looking at like trying to find a lower end gun that they can afford, the ammo might be just as much as the gun. And it'll turn them away.
Sure, but that you couldn't have brought this up at a better time right before I jump off. Because while all the sub gauge guns are great, and I won't lie, I don't shoot anything bigger than a 20 gauge, but you can take a 12 gauge and you can have loads made that are extremely light. Now you'd have to buy your own loading, like a mech reloader or whatever, to make a light steel load. Because I've got one of my really good friends, his daughter shoots trap like crazy here, and she can't shoot the standard trap loads. They kill her. She's a female. So he just loads a really, really light load for her. And the same can be done on the waterfowl. And then it's extremely accessible, right? So it's just asking the right questions in front of the right people, right? I guarantee if you get on and do a Google search looking for a light 12 gauge hand load for steel, you'll find one.
That's super interesting as looking at the ammo business, because you're right. It's heavier, faster, harder hitting is everything that's out there. And the concept of, the equivalent of a light load or a 24-gram load for hunting, I don't think I have ever heard anybody in the ammo business talk about that.
Correct. They
And
don't.
if
'Cause
nothing
it's not
else comes
overly
out of this,
profitable.
George, you got a freaking amazing idea right there. Thank you.
Yeah. So George, I think, yeah, let's get you to chime in on this.
I gotta go, guys. See you.
Sorry
Yeah.
about that.
See you, Rusty.
Hey, Rusty.
Yeah,
Rusty.
it's on this topic, working as a team and getting everybody put together. It's there's this system in California here in the States. We call it Camp Sprig, and it's a youth waterfowl camp that's designed specifically to target youth of people who don't hunt. So we're not targeting the kids that are growing up with hunting parents. We're targeting the kids that are growing up in urban communities and that have never been introduced to outdoor activities. And it's a huge project. We do a big thing in March. We do a fundraiser for the CWA who puts on the Sprig. But this group right here, I'm just so blessed to be sitting in here with a bunch of all these giant names in the waterfowl community. So just thank you so much for giving me a platform. But to get the word out all across the states, if you have some type of influence in your community with these nonprofit waterfowl organizations, pitch the idea. They just use a plot of land. They put up some tents. They get out there. They teach them how to call. They teach them how to scout. They teach them how to use a shotgun. And man, if there's anything that's going to keep this sport alive, it's getting the kids that haven't had an opportunity to be involved with the outdoors. So that's all. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all of your.
Yeah, you're breaking up on us, George, buddy. We're losing you.
Not even a few years ago, waterfowl hunting is a thing of the past. They don't do it anymore. And to think that it can't happen here, I think it's an ignorant thought. There's absolutely people in this country that do not want us hunting. And the hashtag Same Team movement is all about everybody standing together and working together. And it's just so refreshing to see everybody here on that topic.
Yep. Couldn't agree more. It's the common theme. We all know that we've got to grow it, right? It's Sean, you saying things that we've got to look outside the box and not have so much tunnel vision on our own product and our own thing, and we've got to look outside, and that's great, and I agree. But this is where the conversation starts, right? And echoing what Rusty was saying, well then, why aren't we cross-pollinating when it comes to promoting brands and the whole bit? Like, it's easy for me. I don't have any skin in the game, right? Like, I promote all the brands that I like, the brands that I work with. I promote them. Mark, Phil, Craig, they all do the same things. Yeah, got you, Pat.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Craig's gone too. See you, buddy. Look after your dad for me.
Well, I'll actually chime in, Damien.
Yeah, go for it, buddy.
Well, like the whole, like as Sean mentioned, like our sports dwindling, our sports dying. At the end of the day, you can either be part of the solution or part of the problem. And like mentioned, I referenced earlier, like guys bashing people on the internet. Like, what did I shoot? At the end of the day, like there's how many different species of ducks? You can't possibly know every species. Like, I've dropped what I totally thought was a hen mallard when I was in my younger days. To only realize it was a juvie drake because they all look the same. They're all brown. You just got to look at the beak, right? Like, these guys that get bashed on the internet, and it's like, they get, completely humiliated, whatever those case may be. And again, people start dropping off, the face of the earth. That one guy drops off. His buddy gets talking, oh yeah, like, we should get a duck hunting. Well, I don't do it no more. He's like, well, okay, yeah, well, maybe we'll both take up something different now. So now you've lost another person out of the sport. And it's a huge, ripple effect, right?
I got a little story it's not waterfowl related, but it's the same kind of analogy for what worked for me in my life back in the 90s when I was in the Army. We used to get shit on a lot by the different instructors and stuff, but doing drill or whatnot. If you screwed up, they'd be over on you, they'd be yelling at you. There was one instructor, if I screwed up, he would run over, and the first thing he'd do would say, quite calmly, do you know what you did? And I would either say yes or no. If I said no, he'd explain it to me. He said, are you going to do it again? And I would say no. And he'd say, okay, and we carry on. And the reason I responded well to him, and I carried that on for the rest of my life, is because it was a positive experience. Even though I screwed up, it turned out to be a positive experience. And that's what I carried on through my life when I deal with people for the same reasons. I try to take that approach. And generally, if we as a community and we spread that kind of the word of when someone screws up, you're not going to go jump down their throats. You're going to just have a genuine discussion with them and hopefully educate and teach. I don't know, that's an approach that works for me. I don't know if it's something that can be used for everyone, but
positive criticism, man.
No,
even yesterday. Yeah, yesterday. So one of our longtime listeners, I have never met this guy a day in my life. Guy reaches out to me yesterday. He's like, hey, dude, long-time listener, love the show, yada, yada, yada. I need help getting permission on a field. I've never done this. I've got no idea what I'm doing. I've always hunted public. Can you throw me some tips? I'm like, dude, 100%. I'm like, clean outfit, clean truck. Like, you got to kiss royal ass, let's be honest, like, because you're trying to get onto someone's land. But, like, just be genuine. Go up, hey, terribly sorry to bother you. I hope you have a great afternoon, whatever the case may be. Just wondering, do you know who owns that field? Maybe looking at, hunting some birds over there, whatever the case is. And of course, the last thing I dropped him was, and bring your kid. And if you don't have one, borrow one. Because no one will say no when you have a kid with you. Some days you got to play dirty. I'm sorry.
Well, when it comes
to just make sure you bring the kid out when you're going hunting.
Oh yeah,
absolutely.
Mm-hmm. I think that's the true statement right there. Take a kid hunting. I take my son every chance I can. He's been hunting with me since he was 4. I mean, I think we all did that. And bring the neighbor's kid. I mean, I grew up listening to stories from my mom about how she grew up on the South Shore of Long Island. Her father was a diehard duck hunter, hung ducks in the garage all winter because they had colder winters, But he passed away long before I ever had a chance to meet him. So I didn't start duck hunting until I was old enough to go duck hunting, buy my own shotgun. I mean, my game plan with my boys is to take my nephews. I know my cousins aren't going to go hunting with me. But I also try to get anyone that will listen. I'm like, you got to try this. This is so much. I'm a diehard fisherman. That's where I started. And then it morphed. And now I'd rather go duck hunting than fishing. So it's kind of sad to hear all you guys being like, oh, it's going to end at some point. I'm like, no, it's just starting.
Yeah.
But, in reality, it's like we just got to keep pushing forward.
Oh, I think we got a question. We got a question from Mintz Jr. We got a question?
Question, but he's always excited. You guys, talk about taking kids hunting, something that we're just starting and learning, but it's something that we talked about it earlier, that 19, 20, 21-year-old group is not hunting as much as they used to, or as when we did it, but I actually think that the 10, 11, 12, 13, maybe 14, 15 are hunting more. So it's almost like it's a generational skip. And whether that was, to any kind of, what may have happened, but I do see, and maybe it's just because I interact with more of them because I have an older son in that category, but his buddies at 14, 15, 16 love hunting, but I have some friends who have kids that are 20, 21, 22 that absolutely hate it. And so I don't know if there's going to be a revolution of a circle of eventually we're going to have that younger group eventually come back through. We just got to weather the storm. And like this guy here, I mean, he's grown up around hunting his entire life. You walk into his grandfather's or my dad's house, and it's an African safari for, when he went to Africa and shot some stuff, and we go hunting, and I take him, and he's learning. But there's a lot of that aspect that I'm looking forward to, because we are dwindling, but I think we're going to be at that bottom part of it where I think we're going to climb back up with those numbers, because now we all see this, and it's that take a buddy hunting type scenario, and social media and that aspect of it. Those kids are learning, like, hey, this is fun, and I really do think that we got a younger generation coming that, will really boost our numbers.
Well, and I'll piggyback on that too, Craig, because I see that every day just with a lot of the customer interaction that I have. But I think one of the big reasons for that is you see a lot more female hunters now than you ever used to. I mean, that's
100%.
one of the fastest growing customer demographic in the hunting industry right now.
100%.
Right. So, and I think with that, when you get mom hunting, right, clearly the kids are more apt to go hunting at a younger age too. And it's something I think that, all of us could do a better job leaning into as well. Just to make sure, like we keep saying, it doesn't go away.
Well, I know Mark was involved in a very, very well-run, popular youth hunting, I don't know, program.
It was a mentorship program.
But I remember, Mark, there were single moms with kids that wanted to get into hunting, and they just wanted to have something in common with their kid. Like their kid hadn't found something that mom and the kid could do. And then the mom took up hunting because the kid wanted to be involved in hunting. And that's the grassroots stuff that we're talking about. That, I get it. There's volunteer, and you've got to raise money, and you need the property and stuff like that. But Mark, like, you guys did it, and you guys did a fabulous program for years.
So I was involved in that program from 2015 until 2020 when COVID hit. The program, unfortunately, COVID shut it down at that point, and then I moved out of that area while COVID was still ongoing. But I can genuinely say that there's people or kids at the time who went through that program with us that I have kept in contact with on social media and whatnot. And the majority of these kids are now avid hunters. And
Right.
We're talking all kinds of kids. And they would show up at this program between age 12 and age 17. And at first it was mostly boys. And later on, in the last couple of years of doing it, it was at least 50% girls doing it.
Mhm.
And a lot of these people now are actual avid hunters. You see posts of them hunting and enjoying it. Just like I just remember for all these kids how excited it was when we did get them out for their first hunt, if it was their first hunt, and everything we introduced them to. And it was probably the most rewarding thing I did in that 5-year span in regards to hunting was that mentorship program by far.
Well, I know Barry Keeks, who now lives on the east coast of Canada, but he was in Ontario. And I know Barry Keeks was involved in a mentorship program. And last year, when he returned back, one of the kids that he had introduced to hunting was now invited Barry out. Hey, listen, I want to take you for a hunt. And now this kid is organizing the hunt, guiding, scouting, placing the decoys, doing everything. And Barry was a guest where all he had to do was come in and sit down in the blind and pull the trigger because of a kid that he introduced to hunting through that mentorship program, right? Like that's got to be a pretty rewarding thing, right? I
think
so.
like the underlying topic's always kind of growing the community, growing the sport. But I think what everybody really more has talked about tonight is that not just growing, but supporting that community too, right? So, and Phil was saying that, don't be that guy on Facebook that's just complaining about the new hunters that may not have the same ethics as you or have all the good habits that you think you've got. Be that person that takes those people out, offers that up. And I think we talked about it last week too, Damien. Like, yeah, don't just sit back and complain about all these new hunters that are coming in, especially a lot of new people, or like you were saying, Nathan, that women being the biggest growing demographic. Like, don't complain about what shortcomings there may be. Like, be the person that kind of gets out there, helps those people. Because growing the whole community and supporting it, everybody's talked about competition. Well, if you've got more people, you don't have to worry about the competition as much, right? You've got that client base built up. You've got more dollars, more people to share your products with. And then with that, you've got more supporters, you've got more positive outlooks. And especially if you can speak, succinctly and eloquently out there, those people that you've brought along, they're going to be able to do that. So you're going to have more friends, more consumers, more supporters, more voters, whatever the case may be. And, I think back to, like, I've grown up waterfowl hunting, but never felt confident in my abilities or what I learned just casually from my dad. But, one example I think of, like, when I lived down in Rusty's area, anybody that knows Craig McDonald, I ended up working with him at the MNR for a little while, or I was at the MNR office, and, like he was saying, anybody can take that $10 call or that $200 call. Well, Craig McDonald, had his own line of calls and everything. He told me, go to Canadian Tire, grab that $10 night and hail call, bring it to me, I'll tune it up for you, right? So that was a guy who had no reason to support me or do anything like that for me. But yeah, he told me, save yourself all that money, go get that $10 call, I'll help you along the way, right? So yeah, it's not just a matter of growing and leaving those people to fend for themselves. You got to support it all the way through too.
I've actually had the pleasure and honor of hunting with Craig and actually running dogs next to him down in Ohio, and he's like an absolute gem. 100%. Yep. Like, I've sat on, like, the tailgate of my truck drinking beers with Craig, chatting about ducks and dogs and you name it. It's like an absolute gem.
Anytime we're hunting in Ohio, it's a good thing.
I've got to do a tangent here because I'm really curious. Phil Odell, what do you think about that new bottle of rum you got? How is that tasting?
Oh, smooth. Very smooth.
Liquid candy.
Very smooth. No, sorry, fellas. It's all great conversations and it's amazing.
Sadly, it's empty.
Well, you got a full bottle, so pour up another drink. You're the boss, so you can call in late tomorrow for work. But Ben,
no, I'm not the boss. There is a boss of the boss.
Oh, there's always
she's a beast.
Yeah, there's always a boss of the boss. Ben, Bobby, you two have been surprisingly quiet.
Just listening.
Learn more when you listen.
Completely different take on mentorship than everybody else, besides probably Stahl and maybe Ben.
The less you say, the more you learn.
Where'd you sneak off to, Ben?
He went to go.
My wife's not home, and it's my night. Then I got to do bedtime. So I found out that my wife isn't going to be home for like another 20 minutes. So as long as like 30 seconds before she gets home, I take the kid to the bedroom. We're good.
I did my job. I got the Rugrats squared away.
Got in trouble one time because
one time
my wife went off to she went to the Virgin Islands with my mother-in-law and one of her girlfriends. Had to paint the whole upstairs, right? I waited till the day before they came home to paint the upstairs. So
of course you would, because that's what men do.
It's exactly what we do.
Yeah.
100%.
But was the paint job done to her specifications?
Dog shit, I had to do it again.
So that'd be a no.
I'll show you my my Christmas light job a few years ago. Here, I can find it. I'll show you when I find it. It was pretty. I'll just go to her TikTok. This one had my buddies rolling. She said, I was headed out of town, and the birds were in town, and she said, "Hey, when you just get the Christmas lights up before you go." I said, "Okay," and I did it in the daylight. Why is my phone not working? I did it in the daylight.
This should be good.
Keyboard's not working.
I'm sensing you got in shit for this one too.
Oh, I got a lot. But the best part was I did such a bad job, she thought it was funny.
And she never ever asked you to never asked you again.
Nope.
The whole secret is if you can keep them laughing, you can get away with amazing amounts of stuff.
Very, very true. Very true. I think I've worn out all the laughs with my wife now. There's no
trust
more.
me, Damien, you haven't even started, buddy.
It's awesome, fellas, and you know, we've spent the night really just dancing around and trying to figure out ways that we can solve problems that, or maybe not solve problems, but trying to find solutions to things, and everybody's sort of kind of chimed in and stuff. At the end of the day, to be like I don't know, Bobby, you and I have talked about this, and I know there's fellas on here that deer hunt, right? Nothing against you, man, but I just cannot get into deer hunting. Like it's just not my thing. I really don't, because I don't think there's a pursuit out there. Maybe turkey is close, where you have that intimate relationship with the bird. And I don't think there's anything like duck hunting where you're calling back and forth, and there's so much prep work and so much thinking on the fly and stuff. And someone can argue with me, and I get it. And you might be right and I might be wrong. I really don't care. This is what I think. But this chasing ducks, like, look at Stahl, like, and Sean, I'm going to say this because I know this is your thinking. Like, Sean Stahl would love to come to the Toronto Sportsman Show, and he would love to be part of the Toronto Sportsman Show in the refuge. But there's some wonky rules in Canada. And Sean's biggest concern is that I get to Saskatchewan every year and I hunt, and I do not want to take the chance on anything affecting me crossing the border. Right, Sean? Like, that's not wrong for me to say that, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that is how crazy of a passion this is, that someone will, hey, listen, I want to come and help you out, Damien, and I want to be a part of it, and I'm 100% on board with what you're doing. But listen, I'm not ready in 100% on things, and I'm not going to take the chance if it's going to affect me going to Saskatchewan in September and fooling up my hunt in Saskatchewan. Like, it is a passion that I don't think many other pursuits has the same level of passion for.
You've never fished for muskie.
Yeah, no. Nor will I ever. Do you know what I mean? Like, is that a wrong thing to say?
We are just not right in the head, 100%.
There's
not a screw loose. There's several.
I think one thing to remember too is, like, nobody on this call absolutely has to hunt ducks. Everybody on this call hunts ducks because they want to, right? Like,
I'm pretty sure I need to.
But it's like, nobody's going to die. Nobody's going to die if they're not hunting ducks. But like, we're all here because that's what we want to do, right? Like, that's, yeah, like you said, that's your passion. That's what you're chasing. Like, that's what you're choosing to spend your time and everything on.
Well, it's like we live and die by the weather network. Let's be honest. They're like, oh, look, the temp's going to drop like 20 degrees, and there's going to be a blizzard and a hurricane tomorrow. Round up the posse. Let's go.
Yeah.
Because you know there's going to be a push.
Except Bobby, because Bobby doesn't hunt in that shit anymore. Bobby's like,
I call it quits at about 5 below.
I could sense a heated pit blind in that occurrence.
Well, I remember talking to Bobby one time, and I'm like, man, you see those pictures of the guys, and they're out in the water, and they're bringing in decoys, and the rain is coming in sideways, and is just miserable. Right. And I'm like, man, that's waterfowl hunting. And Bobby's like, yeah, I'm not out when that's happening. I am.
The guy with the hose taking a picture.
Yeah. Sunshine and wind.
I don't know, man. It is something. Like, you look at so here, let's throw this out. I don't know what happens with the other, the deer hunters, the big game hunters, the turkey hunters, the fishermen. I have no idea what their world looks like. But I can tell you, within the waterfowl hunting community, there is a lot of podcasts that are out there. There's a lot of dudes doing exactly what we're doing right now, and that's sitting around and talking about hunting ducks. I don't know if the other pursuits do it. And someone like Stahl, I know you do a lot of fishing. Like, is there a ton of people? Like, is there a ton of fishing podcasts out there? Is there a ton of turkey hunting podcasts
There's probably
out
more
there?
fishing podcasts.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
there's a ton of
I think
podcasts for absolutely
fishing
anything.
probably wins.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably. Fishing probably wins.
Yeah, but there's turkey hunting is very avid. There's a lot of media on that, and whitetail is, I mean, the first day of deer season is a national holiday in the States, and it might as well be.
Mm.
So there's a lot of people that are very passionate about their part of the sport, just like we are about duck hunting.
Yeah,
and there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I'm kind of one of those guys that goes from one to the other, and I love all of them, and they're all different.
I do believe that the waterfowl community, though, I mean, just the love that people have for the sport is more so than what you will find within your everyday hunter, within whether it be Western big game or whitetail or whatnot. And I think a lot of that, or the reason I think that, and this is just anecdotal, right? But I mean, when you really start interacting with like whitetail guys or big game guys, that are here in Idaho or what have you, you'll find those guys that they're hunters for sure, but maybe they only get a weekend or 2 or 3 a year that they actually have the opportunity to do it, right? And then you look at the waterfowl community. I mean, everybody on this call, right, probably had 6 or 8 or 10 weekends waterfowl hunting last year. Majority of guys we talked with, Damien, down at Delta Waterfowl, they might have had 50 to 60 days minimum, right? I mean, that's very seldom do you find that, elsewhere within the hunting industry, I feel like. So
well, it's like thinking of Ontario.
Oh, you're 100% right. The season is amazing.
Yeah. There's more opportunity, right? More time.
Yeah.
And if you want to shoot and you want to get somebody into it, you can't beat waterfowling because you get so much time, and the bag limits are huge relative to anything else.
Well, and I don't know
I mean, we get 2 turkeys in a year here in Ontario.
3.
And if you shoot 2 in the spring season, you can't shoot the fall season. It's very limiting, and you can only harvest 1 a day. It's super limiting. Waterfowling is amazing.
If you tag out in the spring, you can't get a fall tag?
Yeah, that's correct. In Ontario,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Mind you, I've never hunted the fall turkey season, but hey, you learn something new every day.
Yeah, going to what you were saying, Nathan, like when I never really thought about that because like in here in Ontario, guys are hardcore deer hunters, but they're hardcore deer hunters for that week of the shotgun season in November, December, if they're in the more southern areas, or those 2 weeks in November, if they're further north in Ontario, right? Like, so yeah, they're hardcore deer hunters for like 2 weeks of the entire year, and then that's it, right? Like they're not going out, they're not spending right till the end of December bow hunting. They're out there with a shotgun or rifle for 2 weeks of the year.
Well, and I'm a prime example of that too. I'm a huge archery elk guy, right? But I don't consider myself nearly as much of an archery elk guy as I do a duck guy, because as soon as archery elk season's over, I've got a span of about 4.5 weeks to get ready for duck season. And then once that, turns on, that's all we do until the end of January, So, I mean, I'm the stereotype myself.
Yes and no. I mean, look at the concentration you put into that 1 week. I mean, they're very different. And like I said, I love the fact that waterfowl is 2.5 months. But they're all different. And like I said, I'm fortunate enough to be able to enjoy all of them to varying degrees, and probably waterfowl to the least, which is stupid because we do so much in the waterfowl business. I just don't get a chance to get out because that's our busiest time of the year.
Right.
But I love the fact that we can go from early goose right on into the freeze out. It's incredible. And it's such an opportunity to go back to what Damien was saying before, to bring people out, because, there's like no excuse. Oh, sorry, I'm busy that week. Well, shit, that's deer season. Well, hell no. There's 8 more weekends after this. So you tell me when you're available. We'll make it happen. And you guys are great at that. And I love that about waterfowl guys. You really are probably amongst the hunting community the most welcoming group.
That, yeah.
Oh, that's hit or miss.
Until you got to bring until you bring somebody to your honey hole that you've been, scouting and prepping for the whole year. Well, then you know what? You see at this time of year, you see all the memes, right? Where it's, hey, that guy you haven't talked to for a year now he's all of a sudden calling you, hey, what's going on for hunting season, when he hasn't done any scouting or hasn't helped you with any of the maintenance and the whole bit, right? So we are, I don't know, man. We're a different bunch when it comes to it, and I agree, Phil. Like, I think we're very welcoming to new hunters. Hey, listen, yeah, man, let's get. I'd say it all the time. Yeah, if you're ever in my area, let's get together for a hunt. I can't promise you birds, but I can promise you that we'll have a good time and have a laugh and the whole bit. And I think that's the draw to waterfowl hunting, is that you can sit down, you can have a smoke, you can chat. You don't have to be, like Mark Vitch having his deer hunting clothes in a Rubbermaid that, he takes it off, it goes right into his Rubbermaid, and it doesn't.
Don't forget the cedar limbs.
The cedar limbs, right? All that, like, we don't.
Oh, brother, I know those people.
Charcoal in a coffee can.
We don't have to do that stuff, right? And I think it's an easier passion to get people into, because at the end of the day, you need a shotgun and a pair of rubber boots and just be warm.
Well, when you're out on that hunt and you're laughing, having a good time until the birds show up, or you're cooking some breakfast right there in the blind, like you can't beat that when you're bringing in new people, right?
No.
Well, absolutely not.
And at that time, I mean, you guys bringing the ethics of it. You say about, you don't step on somebody else's spot. Those are also learning things. And there's a lot of young guys that they have no idea. I mean, we had a guy in our shop, and this is completely separate, but the same at the same time. And all of a sudden, I mean, we had some fancy firearms in the shop, and all of a sudden, this guy doesn't even think about it. Takes his phone out to take a picture. Like, what the hell are you doing? And he never even thought about it. Literally, the young people growing up have a completely different way of looking at things. And he's like, I'm really sorry. I never even thought about it. I said, no, it's cool. But, in a place like this with other people's stuff, maybe it's okay, maybe it's not. But the polite thing to do is ask before you do stuff. Those are, and hunting is the same. There's a lot of ethics. I know my dad, God love him and God rest his soul, he was brutal on that. Like, you just didn't step out of line. You always asked permission, you always tried to be polite, and you always respected the senior guys. And that's something, and I hear it from all of you guys, and I'm sure that's something you're teaching young people as they come up, and it's something we have to encourage other people to also teach, that because that's one of the things that's going to keep this sport going, is when people accept you and are happy to see you show up.
Well, when we talk about, Stahl had talked about how we're losing property, and somebody else had said, it's frowned upon because we have guns, and the public's perception of owning guns is not popular right now, and we're losing property, be it to development or they're selling it for whatever reason. So the thing that surprises me, Sean, that you brought up, is the fact that you're saying they're selling public land all the time that was hunting property. See, I thought, and this was news to me, that I didn't realize that every individual state was so different when it come to regulations down in the U.S. But I thought, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought that the state, that Pittman-Robertson Act, that had earmarked public hunting property, and that could never be taken away. Is that different? Like, is that not the case?
Well, they buy and sell it all the time here. I don't know what every other state does.
Right. And Michigan's not a huge state, right? Like it's not a massive state.
It's a good size.
Is it?
Yeah. Like that big right there.
What it's the?
I mean, you got the mitten and you got the Upper
It's
Peninsula.
pretty big.
Right?
It takes me 10 hours to get from one end to the other.
It takes what? 10 hours?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, that's okay. Well,
it ain't as big as Ontario.
I mean,
hey,
yeah.
Mark. Thanks, buddy, for
everybody.
coming on. I know
No,
you got
again.
to skin off, and you know
I'm
what,
gonna-
fellas, it's 2 hours. Mark's leaving, Phil's leaving.
Yeah, I'm gonna jump in because I gotta get up at 4 a.m. and go to work tomorrow, and that sucks. So
Yeah.
I'll let you guys
All right.
finish.
it's
Baby.
see you, Mitch.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like to Phil, Ryan, Ben, Brian, Sean, Bobby, like all the guys. It's like great having you on tonight. It's a great show. This was definitely one of my longer ones.
Yeah.
Because
Grey's Anatomy wasn't on
Damien
tonight.
chirps me, you gotta go watch Grey's Anatomy. So, but yeah, I gotta get up at like 4:15 and go to work. So
No, buddy, thanks.
this is the one time I got a legitimate excuse.
Yeah.
And frankly, I'm at the end of my fun limit with these godforsaken earbuds that won't stay in. So they've like royally pissed me off. So
Okay, buddy, thanks.
anyways, gents, it's been a blast. Hope to see you again soon.
Have a great night.
Hey, bud.
Take care.
And there's only 2 left, Craig.
Stalin, I got a
So
side chat going. We're talking about this blind grass stuff. I don't know. He reps
I do.
or
Yeah.
whatever. I don't know. You showed it to me.
Yeah,
Alright.
so I haven't seen you do anything on this lately, Sean, but I remember last year you talking about this, and I gotta admit I haven't looked into it, but I remember you talking about it. So here's thanks, Bobby. We can change up the topic a little bit. So is that a synthetic thing? Is it made in a factory, Sean, or is it something that's shipped in from?
It's nothing that I don't work for them. I don't represent them. I am a paid customer of theirs.
Sorry.
Huh?
Sorry. Yeah.
But the stuff is awesome. I was skeptical at first. I was telling Bobby I had such bad dealings with raffia. The dyed raffia grass and birds just flaring. And I wanted to get close to it. I put this stuff on my boat. My boat's got 3 years on it, 14,000 road miles, and I don't know how many birds have landed next to it and rode back in the boat. It works. It's 3D. It lasts forever. It is synthetic, like you said, but it's good stuff, and it's got
What's the name of it?
It's blind grass. It's addictive as hell, man.
What size is your boat, Sean?
I have a 2070 Express, and people ask how many pounds you got on it. I'm like, man, I have no clue because
I've seen yours. It's actually covered.
Yeah, because it's a covered blind, and we actually made it so the blind went around the motor. After the first year, didn't like that because there was water spraying coming up in, so we ended up taking that, cutting it off. I took everything off the blind and put it back on, and then the third year we ended up cutting the sitting side of the blind off, and instead of making the blind like this, the back
Is yours
side.
a high-low?
Yeah, it's a high-low now.
Yeah, that's how.
So I've added and subtracted and done everything. I guess there's about 100 pounds on it.
About 100.
And it seems like a lot, and it is, and it's more expensive. It's probably 3 times more than if you're buying the grass mats, but the grass mats only last a year.
Yeah, I don't like that synthetic stuff. It's
Yeah.
always shiny. Yeah. We use Lespedisia. That's what we cover with.
You what?
We cover with Lespedisia
What the fuck is that?
because it'll road.
Ditchweed?
Yeah, more or less. Yeah, that stuff will go down the highway all season.
Buddy, I'm talking to Bobby the other day, and he's talking about this new property that they're working. What was that plant you told me? They were like, this stuff is all over those balls.
Oh, button bushes?
Button bushes. He was
I
like,
was mowing button bushes for a week.
and I was like, what the hell is a button bush? Anyways, I went and Googled it. I have them all around here as well. But
I was going to say, we've got it here. It's a native plant up here.
yeah, I know, but Bobby's like, oh, we got these button bushes all over. He throws around all these plant
Oh,
names.
stuff's a pain in the ass.
Just be like one of those guys.
I like
Just throw
using
some
that
Craig Mintz
salt
on there,
every
it'll be
year.
good.
What's that, Ryan?
I like using my saute. It's almost one of those things where if you want to ride in the boat, you better come over and help grass the boat, you know? So,
Oh no, nobody grasses the boat but me.
yeah, well, fair enough, but you know, I can get them to put a couple zip ties on, or at least clip a couple.
Yeah, nope, nobody else is covering the boat. Yeah, there's an art to that boat.
I have a 17 TDB Classic. I don't know if you guys are familiar with them. Fully grassed in, and I did a custom flip top for it. But I mean, it blends right in. And it's funny, like we were talking to the guys from TDB, and you guys on Long Island always fully grass them in, but the blind doesn't come down. I drive down the highway, you see the looks I get from people, but it's all natural grass. I used Raffi for a while, and I felt the same way. When it got wet, it got super heavy.
With that, it's just usually most of the synthetics are so shiny, they just don't look right.
But I appreciate the fact that you do it all yourself. I don't know if I could do it. Normally I'm like 500, 600 zip ties.
I bet Sean does that himself.
Oh, you know he does.
I know he does.
Yeah. You know he does. I really wish I would have had Massey on tonight so that Stahl and Massey could have went back and forth over Saskatchewan last year.
He's probably eating pills.
What was it you called him, Sean? Dopehead?
Who? Midget?
Massey.
Yeah, Midge.
Dopehead.
Yeah. Midge, Dopehead, yeah. Yeah. He's over that now.
I know.
We rescued him from behind a dumpster one time. He's all good.
What a story, Jesus!
Oh, buddy, that was one of the best stories we've ever had on this show. 100%. It was awesome. I remember we're doing the show that night, Brian, and I'm texting Sean. I'm like, guess who I got on the show tonight? And he was like, I don't know who. And I was like, Dopehead.
Did you put an intervention on R&T?
Yeah, had a couple come to Jesus's with him, but he's good now. Yeah, we got him hooked on high noons right now, so he's pretty mellow on that.
Oh man, that was one of the best.
Oh, that night is like the podcast was like, yeah, we're just gonna sit here and strap in for the ride.
yeah, because once Massey started talking, it took the whole show. It was awesome. Boys.
I talked to him all winter. He never mentioned anything about it.
Really?
He was saving it up for the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, I know I messaged him and I was like, dude, I haven't been talking to you in ages. I hope everything's okay. Just small talking. He was like, dude, I've got a story for you for the show. He was like, and I'm going to come on and we're going to talk. I was like, all right, this should be good.
After all that, and he said he was injured because he didn't hunt that much. I was like, why didn't you call me? You could have just gotten the boat.
Yeah.
Yeah. You could have gotten the boat in your slippers and your jogging pants.
Yeah.
Say something, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was on the injured reserve for half the season.
Yeah. Just tell me.
I don't know how he got up. I don't know how he was able to get to Canada.
Actually, I don't think he was even cleared to shoot a gun the entire season, to be honest with you. Yeah.
Mm.
Yep.
I
Sounds
wouldn't have told anybody.
Yeah, no doubt. Fellas, I think we're at around 2 hours now. I think we could start tidying this up, and feel free once we're done with the show, we can stay on and chat, which is normally what Craig and I do anyways. So you're feel more than welcome to stay on and chat, and we can tell more lies and we can curse and swear and do a little bit more stuff. But 2 hours, I think we can call it here. If people are still listening to us 2 hours in, thank you. So we'll do a quick around the table, and I'll just call out your names, just quick exit, and then we'll call it, and then we can hang out and chat more once the recording stop if you want. So Phil O'Dell, up to you first, buddy.
Well, thanks again for inviting me. Hopefully, maybe we can get together and visit some ducks and bring some home this fall.
Absolutely.
And looking forward to being in the refuge with you at Toronto Sportsman
Show.
And hopefully, I think it's Sean can make it up.
Yeah, Oh,
That would be awesome.
I'm still working on Sean. Don't you worry. I haven't given up on that yet. Thanks, Bill. Thanks for all your support, buddy, over the last couple years. It's awesome. You and Ben, both of you. I can't thank you enough.
It's a pleasure,
Ryan.
man.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me on. I don't really hold a candle to anybody that was on this call tonight, so I'm really fortunate to be able to hang out with you guys for the last two hours and 15 minutes. So
Yeah.
appreciate it, and yeah, congrats on the 200.
Thanks, buddy. Ryan.
Yeah, thank you again, man. I do appreciate kind of the same thing that Brian just said. I'm getting to talk to a lot of great names in the industry that I've followed for a long time, so I'm honored to be here. Congrats on 200, and I look forward to kind of tuning in and watching all you guys grow and enjoying this big this season that's coming up.
Yeah, thanks for being a pen. Thanks for being a pen pal, buddy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nate.
Yeah, Damien, I just thank you so much for extending the invite to me here to be on the show tonight. It's so cool. You hit 200 episodes here today, and all of us over here at First Light love the hell out of you. You know that, right? So thank you. And you guys too. I really hope to be able to get to meet you guys in person here, whether it's a show or just in passing one of these days. But a lot of cool people on this call. Really thankful.
No, buddy, thank you. You guys have been great to me, and you've been better friends. So I can't thank you enough. Bobby.
Damien, thanks for having me on, and I'm sure I'll talk to you on the phone this coming week.
Yeah.
Make a good thing.
100%.
Yeah.
If we can just keep you at a tractor, because your maintenance on
I'm
property,
almost done with that.
your maintenance on property is cutting into our chat time.
I know. I got one more freaking show I got to do this weekend.
Oh yeah, right.
Yeah.
Craig.
Like I said at the beginning, I just think it's ridiculous that I'm even in the room with this group of people. I just want to say thanks again, Damien, for being a good friend over the years, bringing me into this, and congrats on every bit of success you've had in every iteration of Punisher this far. So good luck as it continues.
Thanks for joining this motley crew. And last but not least, Mr. Sean Stahl.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me on. I always look forward to sitting and talking to you guys. And then this group, pretty awesome. Lots of familiar faces on here, big names in the industry. Some of them I'm real familiar with, probably the last month, way too familiar, running the roads here, working the shows. But we all look a little bit different this time of year, so I hope we run into each other when we're in camo here coming up.
Yeah, 100%. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 200 of the Union 0430 podcast. I can't thank everybody enough for following and listening and just listening to me blabber on for 200 episodes. To Bobby, Craig, Jeff Coates, First Light, Nate, for all the support. Thank you so much. There's 200 more episodes easy in me. And we're going to do it. Craig, Merck, Phil, you guys are going to be there with me. Thank you so much. Surround yourself with good people, big love, and chat next time.